routine version of an honored event on the university calendar. It is a presidential tour of Kansas to take the story of Fort Hays State all around Kansas. And it is my privilege to introduce the person who will carry that story this year, Dr. Jeff Briggs, our Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost. Jeff himself has a long history with Fort Hays State. After growing up and graduating high school in Broken Bow, Nebraska, he came down here for his bachelor's degree, got a BS in physical education, hung around to get a master's in physical education and recreation, and then went to work here as an assistant football coach and an instructor. Then he left in '87, and over the next 10 years worked at 4 other universities: Chadron State, Nebraska, Western Michigan, and the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, and Stephen F. Austin down in Texas. And during that period, he also earned his doctorate at the University of Arkansas. And in '98, he returned to Fort Hays State as chair and a professor in the Department of Health and Human Performance. And he's been here ever since. So he's going on 21 years now in this stint at Fort Hays State. And after 4 years, he became the Dean of the College of Health and Behavioral Sciences. And now is our Interim Provost and Academic Affairs Vice President. So, let's welcome Jeff.
Thank you, Kurt. It is my pleasure to serve as the acting president this week with President Mason, as President Mason continues to recover from her illness, which has dramatically limited her ability to speak. So doing a Kansas tour and being unable to speak is certainly would be a challenge for her. While I've been acting president in the past, I have never quite had the opportunity before me that this week provides. I can tell you, I'm excited to have the opportunity to tell the Fort Hays State University story. I want to welcome everybody and thank you for coming out to support us as we take up another tradition at Fort Hays State University. This tradition began 30 years ago with a young new president. You may remember him as Ed Hammond. As Ed decided that the story of Fort Hays State University, who it is, why it is here, what it is doing, and where it is going, was not a secret to be kept in Hays America, but needed to be told everywhere that it could be told. Now, 31 years later, a lot of people around the world know and love Fort Hays State University because the people of this university have helped thousands of students unlock their potential and find the path to their dreams. But that story still needs to be taken everywhere we can take it. And this week we'll be carrying it all around the state, north, south, east, and west. And again, I'm glad to be able to carry that message for all of us here at Fort Hays State University. Fort Hays State University, the Fort Hays State University story is basically this. It is about hardworking, determined people coming together to learn from each other and help each other in the future. And to reach their goals, they have had to constantly find new ways of doing things as hardships and challenges presented themselves. While numbers are far from everything, they are one indicator of what you do is working well. This university started as a branch normal school to train teachers for one-room schools. That first semester had 19 students meeting in an abandoned building on an abandoned military base. When this tour of Kansas started in 1987, Fort Hays State University had approximately 5,500 students. This semester, fall 2018, we had 15,523 students on our 20th day census. That's 423 more students than we had last fall, and that realizes our 18th consecutive year of enrollment growth at Fort Hays State University. Of special importance, this fall we are serving 7,848 Kansans. That's a 3.6% increase over last year and over a 10% increase from 2008. I will hold for applause on that. We are meeting our mission as a state-supported regional institution in Kansas. serving Kansans, serving students from throughout the Midwest, throughout the country, as well as throughout the world. We are making a big difference at Fort Hays State University. Another kind of indicator of success is recognition by people who make their business to figure out what kind of things are important and then set out to measure. About a third of our students are older than 25 years old. A majority of our students are part-time because they can't just quit work and go to school. They have jobs, and many of them have families to support. They're willing to put in the time, the effort to gain the education that will help them create the future that they want. The people at the Washington Monthly make it their business to find the best institutions for those learners. They produce some of the most thoroughly researched findings and rankings available of institutions of higher education, and they focus on the metrics of accessibility and perseverance. By that measure, out of the 1,124 institutions across America who participated in that survey, we are, at Fort Hays State University, one of the top 10. A key part of accessibility is affordability. The current issue of the Kansas Leadership Center Journal and a chart on tuition costs at Regents institutions shows that for the 2018-2019 year at Fort Hays State University, we're only $24.46 above inflation over a 10-year period. That means that in real dollars, tuition and fee costs for 15 credit hours this year at Fort Hays State University is less than $25 above what it would be if we had only kept pace with inflation.
1, 2, mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2.
Check. You never know when you're going to have competition. The Journey campaign. The Journey campaign, supported by over 7,000 donors annually, launched publicly at Homecoming 2016 and is scheduled to conclude at Homecoming 2021. The pillars of the Journey campaign are student scholarships, support of academics, student life and athletics. Private donations via the Journey campaign provided $6 million in immediate support, financial support to Fort Hays State University last year. $2 million of that was for student scholarships. In addition to immediate support, many donors have endowed their gifts to provide support today, next year, and in perpetuity. To date, the campaign has raised $68 million toward the goal of $100 million. Thank you all who support Fort Hays State University in so many ways. There are many other components to the Fort Hays State University success story. A partial list: our expanding campus. Victory Village and Tiger Village just opened last year. The Center for Applied Technology and Sculpture opened as well last fall. The Art and Design building we see going up in front of our very eyes. Happened to drive by that yesterday, and I'm just stunned at the progress that is being made, and will be open next fall for students. The fact that full-time doctorally prepared faculty teach, starting with our freshman classes all the way through our graduate programs. Our new Doctor of Nursing Practice program graduated their first doctorally prepared nurses this past spring. The Kansas Academy of Math and Science for Kansas students and the Academy of Mathematics and Science for national and international students provides a great breadth of wonderful opportunities for high-achieving students on our campus. Our institutional focus on undergraduate research, our important partnerships with community colleges around the state, making transfer from associate degree programs to baccalaureate degree programs as smooth and seamless as possible. Our focus on service to the region, such as our Hanson internships through career services and the free hearing screenings in rural areas throughout our area that are provided by our communication sciences and disorders students and faculty. These stories and many more are the kind of things that we will talk about around the state this coming week. They are part of the university story, but you, the faculty, staff, students, and alumni and friends of this university are the Fort Hays State University story. I believe in the story. I am honored to be able to pinch hit for President Mason and be able to tell the Fort Hays State University story. Thank you all for coming out to see us off. I would be glad to take any questions.
How many stops do you have, Dr. Briggs?
I will deflect that question to Kelsey. We have 3 to 4 per day. I do know that.
We've had a couple changes just even since last night, so we're about a dozen.
We have about 12 stops as of last night. It changed. I was asked to participate in this Friday morning and met with Kelsey late Friday morning, and kind of changing as we go. We tip off, we hit the air here in an hour, less than an hour, and head for Phillipsburg for our first stop. And so Phillipsburg, Clay Center, Salina, I believe are our three stops today. Spend the evening in an alumni event in Salina. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you all for coming this morning. We're excited to get on the road and tell the Fort Hays State University story. Thank you. There are refreshments in the back, so please linger and visit and enjoy the fellowship.